Okay, so we're on to question 15, which asks us for 6 marks, or says for 6 marks, information on the internet can sometimes be unreliable. Discuss ways you could minimize the chance of finding unreliable information when searching the internet. Okay, so the important point here is that we are talking about a discuss question. And for a discuss question, we want to be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of different methods, and generally come up with some kind of conclusion at the end. And 6 marks, so we're looking to make at least 5 points along with a conclusion. And it's probably going to take some kind of essay-like format. So let's brainstorm some ideas and see what we can come up with. Ideally, in this situation, if you have plenty of time and you get a discuss question, brainstorm somewhere else first, and then use that to construct your essay itself. So let's try that. Okay. There are various ways to make sure that the information we find on the internet is reliable. Okay, so let's get some ideas before we do anything here. So first one, only use sites which have credible domain names. Okay, so that's our idea, but let's think of an advantage and a disadvantage of that. Okay, an advantage of that is sites with credible domains. Sorry, I should just elaborate. .edu, .co.uk, .gov, things like this. Sites with credible domains help us to know that the site is trustworthy. As often to get these domains, such as .gov, you have to be part of a reliable organization. Okay, so this again, you could blah 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 a bit more about this helps us to know, that you could talk a bit about why governments, for example, are supposedly more reliable sources, or you could say something about this lets us get official versions of events, let's say. Okay, downside, we could, I don't know if it's too far off the side, but you could argue about often governments will have their own spin on information and are not independent. Likewise, you could argue something like, what was I going to say? And people with enough money can buy legitimate sounding domains such as .com or .co.uk, etc., etc. Okay, so we've got one type, one advantage, one disadvantage. Okay, so we need another one. Ideally, we probably want to, again, you want to be doing as much as you can. So what's the other option that we have here? Oops, I pressed the wrong thing there. I don't want to do that. I'm just there. I don't use Google Docs very often. Some weird leveling here. Hang on. Okay, that's better. Okay, our other main point, we could say something like only, or we won't say only, that's a bit try to use. Okay, another option would be try to use popular websites with high traffic. For example, bbc.co, bbc.co.uk might be a reliable source of news due to its popularity. Actually, you probably can't use BBC, to be honest. For example, famous news sites might be reliable sources of news due to their popularity. My video is getting annoying. Okay, so what's an advantage of this? An advantage of using popular ones with high traffic means these are used by many people who are likely using, who maybe would not be using the source if it were not safe. Okay, should hopefully be enough. Again, you feel free to elaborate on these things. Okay, downside, popularity does not always mean quality. So popularity not always mean quality, just because many people, or we could say many people may visit a site because of advertising or other reasons, rather than trustworthiness. Other reasons such as salaciousness. I didn't think I was going to get no. Anyway, salaciousness and trustworthiness. Okay, so that's a start. Okay, and then let's think of another thing, another reason. So we're asked for 6. So ideally we want 3, advantage, disadvantage, disadvantage, advantage. Again, always go a bit above and beyond, so, but we'll come back to that. So we need one more. What could we use? So we've got reliable domain names, we've got popular websites, and we could talk about the quality of the website would be another option. I'm trying to think if there's anything better, but okay, let's go with quality. Or let's go with references instead. That's a good, sensible one. Use pages that reference where they found their materials. Okay, the advantage, you can double check the information given by referring to the original source. I cannot type it. It's quite late here. Okay, but on the downside, it is very time consuming, and you may spend a large amount of time on a source only to a large amount of time on a source having to investigate its background. Okay, so hopefully that should be more than enough. Okay, so again, we're a bit of overkill here, but overkill is good. Like I said, you could also possibly talk about the quality of the web pages themselves. High quality web pages suggest more investment. More investment, not necessarily, but generally suggests that the page is going to be worthwhile. Okay. Downside being, there are also many good low quality sites that have this information. Conclusion, let's stick in a very quick conclusion. In conclusion, it is important to balance out the different factors mentioned above. However, with the quality of information online, it is still worthwhile to use the internet as a source of information. Okay, something like that should hopefully also get you a little point on the end. So always stick in a conclusion if you can. But as you see, I mean, again, maybe the other one of the complaints about this exam, there was a lot of writing, a lot of big essays that you had to do, which is probably quite good because it means you have to engage, you have to think and really look at the problem. And it's a nice change from just memorization, but it could be quite taxing on your hands, especially if you're not used to writing, and it could be quite tiring as well. Okay, we'll go